this all seems like it's more made for a movie or a TV series, like you're saying. The reality is he was already acquitted. Double jeopardy has already attached. And there's nothing to do with any new evidence at this point except for make a better TV series. But it's far-fetched, as you've been explaining throughout the show. Just because he's not here now doesn't mean he's fleeing, Nancy, at this point.
He's in Ecuador.
He could be there on a mission trip. We don't know why he's there.
You just heard him say he's separated from the church. He's taking a self-imposed sabbatical. He's taking a, quote, step back. Did you hear that?
But he's not disappearing. He's in constant communication. He's communicating through his attorney. He's saying he's going to come back, that he had to change his flight. That's not the behavior of someone that's fleeing. Yeah, that's very possible that somebody followed her, and they should look into that missing evidence or fingerprints. The underlying elements of a hate crime is a crime. It's targeted against a specific group of people, and the motivation is hate. You're talking about a young man that went into a house of God and gunned down an entire segment of people. Voluntary intoxication is not a defense, and an insanity defense, in my opinion, is a red herring defense. Jodi Herring knew exactly what she was doing. She had a rap sheet of 10 prior convictions, and she went and intentionally laid in wait to kill the woman
who laughed.
This person in some way has to be connected to the killer. Must be connected. It's the extramarital affairs, the probable cause affidavit of financial problems. You have to follow motive, and motive is going to come down to emotional issues and money. We need to find out, is there a life insurance policy involved? Was she worth, who was she worth more dead to? Would it be too costly to get a divorce? Would there be a custody battle? Would child support be an issue? He's claiming that he should have an expectation of privacy because he didn't know he was being taped. But then there's the legal issue of whether or not he should be entitled to privacy because he was engaging in what he thought was a private act, but in someone else's home. His argument's interesting because he thinks he's entitled to privacy, but hidden cameras are a common thing. Well, Nancy, I didn't know about that note, but seeing that note, I can still say there's a huge difference between, because I was speaking to his friend Jay Wild and whether or not he had motive to lie to cover up in order for him to get off. But that note, even if he said, I'm going to kill, people say that all the time. This isn't somebody that needs to be behind bars, Nancy. This is someone that needs psychiatric help. This is somebody that has a drug problem and needs his dad to console him. This isn't someone that needs to be behind bars like every other criminal. He's the vicious animal. He's the one that is the vicious attacker, not the dog. And the dog's not going to ever get out. The dog's going to probably be euthanized. They might be able to duck criminal liability, but not civil liability. And as long as everyone's using the coined term duck here, that's just ridiculous because there's civil negligence here, and that's a totally different burden. And they should have known to check their vehicles that are this old. And no wonder a crash like this would happen. That was the day before she said that it was flu-like symptoms, and then when she was at the hospital, that's when she was as sick could get. So I'm not sure if that really means she was lying. It might have started out like a flu and then gotten progressively worse. You know that happens all the time where people swear under oath and then stories change at trial or when other testimony is given. You know, this is Charlie just being Charlie. He's getting angry, he's getting emotional, he's being explosive. That doesn't mean that he actually intended to kill her. That means that he is on a rant and rave, which is what Charlie Sheen does. I think that the only way to figure out who's guilty and who's not is to charge all of them so they start turning each other in and start flipping witnesses. And then we can work out a certain deal with the ones that aren't as guilty as the others. She has every right to defend herself in her house, but the moment they abandoned their intent, she had a duty to retreat.